"You're holding the controller wrong again," my boyfriend said, pulling it out of my hands. "Look, babe, competitive gaming requires years of dedication that casual players like you just don't understand." I was sitting on our couch watching him stream to his 84 subscribers while he explained to them why I'd never be good enough to play in his squad. Jared considered himself a semi-pro gamer because he'd once placed 47th in a regional qualifier and never let anyone forget it. "She's sweet for trying, though," he told his chat while ruffling my hair like I was a child learning to tie their shoes. "Maybe someday she'll be good enough for Bronze League." His viewers laughed with those little emote reactions flooding the screen, and I just smiled and went back to playing mobile games on my phone, which he said weren't real games anyway. What Jared didn't know was that I'd been competing professionally since I was 14 under a gamertag that nobody knew belonged to me. I'd won 3 major championships, earned over $400,000 in prize money, and had sponsorship deals. My face wasn't public because I always competed with an avatar and voice modulator to avoid the harassment that female pros usually dealt with. The irony was that Jared actually had a poster of my avatar on his gaming room wall and constantly talked about wanting to meet the player behind it someday. "That person is literally untouchable," he'd say, while practicing the exact combos I'd invented. I kept waiting for the right moment to tell him, but watching him lecture me about gaming basics while worshipping my alter ego was too entertaining to stop. His gaming team's group chat was constantly buzzing with clips of my plays that they'd study for hours. Jared would pause the videos frame by frame, explaining to his teammates and me what made these moves so brilliant, never knowing I was sitting right there eating cereal while he analyzed my own gameplay. 2 weeks before the biggest tournament of the year, Jared's team suddenly needed a substitute player because their fourth got suspended for toxic behavior. "We're so screwed," Jared moaned, pacing around our apartment in his team jersey. "The tournament is in Vegas, and we need someone who can at least not embarrass us completely." He looked at me desperately, and I knew what was coming. "Would you maybe want to come as our sub? You won't have to play, we just need a registered fourth." I pretended to think about it while he literally got on his knees to beg. "Please, we already paid the entry fee and booked the hotel." Finally, I agreed, and he spent the next week trying to teach me strategies that I'd created. The night before Vegas, he made me practice the same basic combo over and over, sighing dramatically each time I did it too perfectly. Then disaster struck at the tournament because their third player ate sketchy convention food and was throwing up 5 minutes before their match against my actual team. "You have to play," Jared told me, his face pale as paper. "Just try not to die too much, and maybe we won't lose in under 10 minutes. As we walked onto the main stage in front of 10,000 fans, I caught the eye of my real teammates and gave them the tiniest nod. The match started, and I let Jared take a lead for about 30 seconds before I decided enough was enough. I pulled off a perfect wall bounce into a triple headshot combo that made the commentators literally scream into their microphones. Where did that come from? The substitute just eliminated their best player. Jared's mouth fell open as I proceeded to dismantle the entire enemy team using movement techniques that only a handful of players in the world could execute. The crowd was going insane trying to figure out who I was, and then I heard the commentator yell over the noise, "Wait, that's the signature rotation. Nobody else can pull that off." Jared turned to stare at me in the middle of the match just as I executed a play that he'd spent 3 months trying to learn from YouTube videos. His character stood completely still and got eliminated because he'd stopped playing entirely. "What the hell is happening?" he whispered into his mic, which was broadcasting to thousands of people. The chat was exploding with theories when suddenly my real teammate spoke up over the game audio loud enough for everyone to hear. "Stop playing around on your boyfriend's account and get back over here." The entire arena went dead silent for 3 seconds before erupting into absolute chaos. Jared's face went through every possible emotion while the cameras zoomed in on us sitting side by side at our gaming stations. I finally stopped holding back and cleared the entire enemy spawn by myself, ending the match in what would later be called the most disrespectful victory in tournament history. The commentators were losing their minds while Jared looked like he wanted to disappear into the floor.